Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm very excited for this video. I hope you are too. Let's dig in.
Hey guys. Hey guys.
Hello.
Hey guys. My hack.
So I love reading. Unfortunately, I don't have as much time to read anymore as I did at one point, but I've read hundreds of books, and I'll show you. I have 3 packs of books of this size, and I'm just gonna go through and explain why I love them. I have a Kindle and I go to the library a lot, so I don't have all of them as physical copies. Okay, let's go. So this is The 5 People You Meet in Heaven by Mitch Albom. This is, as I said on TikTok, I don't have like an emotional attachment to this book, but it's one of those books that you should read at least once in your life, because you learn so much reading this book. It's insane. I loved it so much. So this is The 5 People You Meet in Heaven by Mitch Albom. Okay, next one, a deep one. The Unabridged Journals of Sylvia Plath. This woman, oh my god, nothing more to say except this woman. Also the bell jar. I don't have the bell jar as a physical copy, but the bell jar, yes, one of the best books ever written. Moving on. The Book Thief. This is also one of those. I'm not emotionally attached to this book, but it's also one of the books that you should read at least once in your life. It's such an amazing storyline and such an important storyline. It's about the Second World War, Nazi Germany, and it's just, I ate this up. I think The Picture of Dorian Gray by Oscar Wilde is the first classic I ever read. This book introduced me into classic. That guy, icon. Moving on. I thought we were starting soft. This book, this book is the love of my life. Have you seen it? I read this book, I think 2 or 3 times. I even did a book presentation in school about it. I can't put into words what I feel for this book. I can't. There's so much emotion. There's so much going on inside of me just looking at it. This is my baby. If my room would burn, this is what I'd save. Moving on. Also, this was a little live by Hanya, Yanagihara. Didn't even say it. This is In Memoriam by Winn. This came out only recently, 2023. I loved this book. The storyline, amazing. I read the blurb online and I instantly fell in love, and it didn't disappoint. I loved this book. Useless Magic. If I was a book, this would be me. Useless Magic by Florence, Welch. Oh my, it's poetry, prose and lyrics, and it's amazing. I mean, what is that? Excuse me. Anyway, not the point. Moving on. Oh, I don't have any more space. I'm going to drop them on the floor. Unsung Swallowing, Dakota Warren, Poetry and Prose. This book introduced me to poetry. I thought, as English isn't my first language, I thought I was incapable of reading poetry, understanding poetry, because I just didn't know the language to that point yet. And then I read this book and this made me feel everything. That's how I can describe it. This made me feel everything. I've read this so many, I can't even recall how many times I've read this book. Moving on. Secret History, Donna Tartt. Guys, reading this felt like a dream. When I look back to reading this book, it feels like when you read this book, you feel like you're living in it. You feel like you are in the book. I don't even remember myself reading it. I just remember the story as if I was part of the story. This is how good this book was. Please read it. It's worth the hype. And this I read following up to The Secret History because I read that it's kind of similar, and it's The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V.E. Schwab. This book makes me question if authors are real people, because how do you come up with a storyline like this? I ate this up. I loved this book. I adored this book. The storyline, insane. I hate the format, like what is that? And it's so wobbly. I hate paperbacks that are like wobbly. I don't like that. But the book is amazing. 1,000 Splendid Suns. Oh my god. Khaled Hussini. I also read The Kite Runner. I don't. These are such impactful books, like his books. Also one of those books that you should read at least once in your life. Note that. 1,000 Splendid Suns and The Kite Runner by Khaled Hussini. Okay, Taylor Jenkins Reid. I read this and then I read this. I read this before they announced that there'd be a show, and I freaked out. I freaked out when they announced that there was going to be a show. I love this book so much. This book, the thing is, it reminded me of Fleetwood Mac. Like, in my head, I was imagining Fleetwood Mac all this time, and then they announced a show and said that it was inspired by Fleetwood Mac, so that's insane. Insane. That is a marvel of a book, and so is she. So is she. But if I'm honest, I love this more than this. This is Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, and this is Daisy Jones and the Six by Taylor Jenkins Reid. Swimming in the Dark. Nobody knows this book. Nobody. It's placed in the 80s in Poland, and it's that's a horror book. I mean, not like, if you know what I mean. It's a romance, but a horror. Women living deliciously, and Women Don't Owe You Pretty. I'm a feminist. Haven't noticed? I'm a feminist. And these are my number one books. Florence Given. Such a powerhouse of a woman. I love Florence Given. And that's a new book. And I don't have Girl Crush. I haven't read it either. But I love this. I love them both. Read them. Being a Wallflower. The Pags of Being a Wallflower by, I don't know, Stephen Chbosky? I don't know. This was my awakening to adolescence. I love the film. I adore the film, in fact, and I adore the book. When I read that book, I felt like Charlie, and reading that book at that time of my life was the most validating thing I had felt in a long time, and it just felt so personal. This is personal. This is personal. So don't let me explain, okay? This is these two. Let me explain. They're amazing books. They're amazing books. I'm not a creep. I swear I'm not psycho when I say this. I mean, it's mind-blowing to me that this is a true story. This is not made up. Like, these are the thoughts of the actual guy. This is not made up. This is not fictional. That's the crazy thing to me, and that's why it's so insane. I inhaled this book. And I'm not a psycho, I swear. And I don't want, please don't. Oh god, I'm talking too much. I don't want that. I think it's freaking weird. Really do. But how it's written? No. Same with this. I read that following up to that. It's a good book. It's My Dark Vanessa by Kate Elizabeth Russell. Can we just leave it there? Thank you. My policeman. I first read that in April 2021. And you know why? Because Harry Styles had it in his coat pocket. That's why I read it. This would also be one of those books that I would save if my room would burn. And so is The Perks of Being a Wallflower, but this book, I don't recall how often I've read this book, and I love the film too. When the trailer came out, I pinned the scene to the page. This is my all-time favourite book. The show and the book, both, make me feel so incredibly, so much. Oh my god! I don't recall how often I've read this book and how much it means to me. I can't put into words how much this book means to me, and how much Marion and Connell mean to me. You know? And Paul Mescal and Daisy Edgar Jones. This is engraved in my brain. Following up to this, I also love Conversation with Friends, and I've recently read Intermezzo and Beautiful World, Where Are You? I've also read that, but Conversation with Friends and Normal People are my favourites by Sally Rooney. Following up to that, I read this because I was looking for books that are similar to Normal People, and this was pretty close. It's about Will and Rosie, but they're so Marion and Connell coded. They really are. And I'm not just saying that. It's also, again, a wobbly paperback, but I loved it. I loved it, and it was amazing. This is Talking at Night by Claire Daverley. Didn't she also write The Guest? I don't know. Aristotle and Dante discover the secrets of the universe. I read this on holiday. I love this book. This is by Benjamin Ali. Oh god, I'm sorry. Can you tell how involved I get into books? Shuggy Bane and Young Mungo. I don't have Young Mungo as a physical copy. I read it on my Kindle. But Douglas Stewart books. If a Douglas Stewart book would be a song, it would be a Sam Fender song. When I read Douglas Stewart's books, I exclusively listen to Sam Fender. This guy, these two, Sally Rooney and Douglas Stewart, have, again, because of these two, I ask myself if authors are real people, because how can you put on a piece of paper, how can you put so much emotion, and how can you write something in a way that I feel it deep inside of me? How is that possible? Like, I read either of those, and it's like you're carving out my heart with a spoon. That's how this feels. This is how much emotion they put into their books. Okay, so if you want to feel something, read these. Okay, I'm really late. I gotta go in like 10 minutes. Earlier than that, but Bright Young Women. I only read this recently, and I hadn't read a book this good in so long. This is Bright Young Woman by Jessica Knoll. I don't read crime books, but this book, it's a spin-off of the Ted Bundy unalivings, say it this way, and it's so good. It's like from the perspective of one of the girls at the society house, and it was so good. So if you want like a nerve-wracking book, this wrecked my nerves. Like literally, it was this good. Read this. Pride and Prejudice. After The Picture of Dorian Gray, I read this. And yes, it has the right to be classic. I mean, who am I to say? Who am I to say? This and Emma. Yes. Yes, they have the right to be classic. Last, but certainly not least, Call Me By Name. This is a Waterspoon special, this hardcover. I first read Call Me By Your Name in German. That's how long ago it was that I read that book. I think I read Call Me By Your Name first when I was 12, which is crazy. Crazy. Who allowed me to read that book? Anyway, I read it at 12 for the first time, and then I read it again and again and again and again. It's also one of my phone died. So I talked to the wall and I had Kung Fu. I was really late, but now I'm back and we can continue. We were talking about Call Me By Your Name. This is where we left off. So, as I said, this book and the film, they're deeply, deeply engraved in the whole of me. I can't. I think that was that with the physical copies. I'm just looking through my Goodreads. Oh my god, Me by Elton John. Please read it. I'm usually not one for autobiography or biographies in general. I found that really boring because I usually read them about people who already know. But that book, I love Elton John. Okay, maybe Wuthering Heights, Emily Bronte. Oh my gosh. Big Swiss. That was so strange. And so was I'm a Fan and The Vegetarian. Excuse me, have you ever heard about The Vegetarian or The Collector? The Collector is freaking, that's bloody psycho. That's straight up psycho. That's crazy. Patti Smith. I love Patti Smith. Oh my gosh. M-Train and Just Kids. Crazy books. Crazy. I love Patti's music. I love her books. I love her poetry. I love it all. Boy parts were so Lie With Me and On Earth We're Briefly Gorgeous were devastating. Oh my gosh, they were so devastating, but they were so good. Animal Farm, Little Women. My Year of Rest and Relaxation. Oh my god. Such a good, The Virgin Sugar. Yeah, I love literature so much. I love literature so much. I love it. All the Young Dudes. The thing is, I read that without having seen any of the Harry Potter films. I have seen the Harry Potter films, but not like, I wasn't paying attention. I just watched them. I saw The Prisoner of I think that's the one. I think that's the one. Prisoner of Azkaban. I saw that. I know that one better. But All the Young Dudes, I forget that that's a fanfic. It was that good. To Kill a Mockingbird, The Catcher in the Rye. Oh my god, yes! I remember reading last night at the Telegraph Club and it made me feel things. I could actually experience love. That sounds crazy, but I felt that way. I was quite young. Dead Poet Society. Dead Poet Society. Robin Williams. Don't get me started. Don't get me started. Oh, that's that with the good books. I hope you liked it. I hope you felt somewhat inspired. I love you dearly. I appreciate that you're still here. I love you so much for being here, for still being here. and for joining and for spending time with me. Thank you so much. You're also special to me, and I feel so grateful to have you all and to be in this place, to have this kind of platform, and I'm doing my best to put it to use for the best reasons and for the good stuff only, and not take it for granted. And yeah, I love you.